I just spent like 15 minutes catching 70 great chins, and now I'm about to start my combat training arc. To begin, of course, we're going to be using these chins for some range training. I accidentally had black and white mode on for the duration of this training session, so sorry about that, but here we are. I am currently in the Abyss. That's right, the place where you get essence pouches. The Abyss is a super popular training spot, and even back in the day in 2016 when I used to play this, it still was. There is no reduced combat XP for killing Abyss creatures in RS3, and there's a lot of them, so it makes it a very good AoE training place. Range is supposed to be super fast at my level with chins, because even in RS3 combat, with the abilities blowing everything up, chins will still maintain their AoE effect exploding in a 3x3. So of course, that opens the question of, I only got 70 chins, so what exactly am I expecting from it? That won't last long. The way that ammo and runes in RS3 are consumed is quite unique. When you use a combat ability, it will not use your ammo. So every time I'm using an ability, I'm not losing my chinchompas. The only way that I use chins is that if I'm AFK and Auto Retaliate moves my character, I do something called an auto attack, where I throw a chin as I switch to the NPC, and then use my ability one tick later. This basically gives me a little extra damage, but of course, it's not worth doing on purpose for the sake of ammo. It's why you see me spam clicking new Abyss creatures, plus mainly using my abilities, to ensure I don't accidentally auto attack. And yes, when doing this, it is realistic to essentially consume 0 chins, making these 70 chins last forever. Training on defensive in RS3 doesn't make it slower than training on just range, because either way the abilities are used every 3 ticks, and I just got 47 defense. The only thing is, at the moment, at these low levels, I'm quite unsure if defense is fastest with range, or if I could get faster XP an hour doing melee. I ended up switching to range only training to rush 55 for red chins. However, before I leave the Abyss, I'm going to quickly do 50 defense for new best in slot melee armor, and come back and test melee. I mean, when training defense only, I get 200k an hour, so this definitely didn't take long. 50 defense done. You guys may have noticed that I specifically said I want to test melee at 50 defense. Let me give you some lore on RS3 combat. There used to be something called elite dungeons that were insane combat XP for low levels. You could boost them very early game for 500k an hour plus combat XP, and I think even range where you could chin, it was up to 1 mil an hour early game. This was in the game for many years, and it got nerfed about 6 months ago. Because most people in RS3 are maxed, or at least the game is focused on endgame players, nobody has really tested early game combats since. So a lot of these methods are not fully optimized, or still need figuring out. Halberds have always been the best in slot melee method for training XP, because they can reach 2 tiles in front of you, making the AoE melee abilities extremely good DPS for mass creatures like these. As for the order I'm leveling in, I decided to do 60 attack first for a dragon halberd, as I'm currently using rune, and of course, similar to OSRS, straight up upgrading my weapon should be a noticeable increase in DPS. So coming up to 55 attack, I concluded that this method is getting me about 155k an hour melee XP. However, this is about to skyrocket at 55 because we are unlocking something big. I currently only have 2 melee abilities that give me AoE. The first 2 things in my ability bar. The first one is Cleave, which has a 7-second cooldown, and the second one is Quake, which has a 20-second cooldown. Whenever I'm not using these 2 abilities, I'm only hitting 1 enemy at once. AoE is most of my XP per hour. At level 55 attack, we unlock a new ability, Hurricane, which is another AoE attack that we can use every 20 seconds. This should add a very noticeable amount of DPS. Okay, back with the Rune Halberd and all of my AoE attacks, maintaining 170k an hour at level 55 attack. I'm just about to hit level 60, which is our next upgrade. Dragon Halberd over Rune is huge, but I have a small surprise on top of that. Unfortunately, I did not record, but the other day I was killing Mole with the team for a Slayer task, and I got spooned a Dragon 2-hand sword. This is absolutely massive for my combat training, and anyone in my team who decides to train melee in the Abyss. Prepare to have your guys' mind blown. The XP here is going to be nuts. In old school RuneScape, the Dragon 2-hand spec hits 11 enemies within a tile from you. Believe it or not, even in EOC, you can still use those legacy special attacks. The 3 AoE abilities that I mentioned earlier take priority, but I still gain enough adrenaline to use my Dragon 2H. Boom! Look at that D2H spec. The best part is, there's no technical time cooldown on it. It's just whenever I have leftover adrenaline, I can use it. I'm already at 55 defense. With this setup, we are getting 320k an hour defense XP. So all melees from now on are at least 300k an hour, and of course, as I am right now, I have the option to train defense at that rate as well. 56 defense? I decided to full send 60 defense with melee, and I'm still only 50 strength, but believe it or not, strength in this game is almost meaningless. Most of your DPS is based off your accuracy, which can be increased from training attack. Here is level 60 defense, and now when I go back to melee, I can just train attack. I had zero idea what to expect from ranged, but Waze used my leftover great shins and did some optimizing, so we are doing a slightly different method, but with red shins now. This ranged dummy that I'm attacking allows me to 10-minute AFK here, and also makes it so that I never have to worry about wasting chins. Theoretically, it probably doesn't increase my XP by much, if at all, but it makes it way easier. Also, I added some accounts to dance just like OSRS, but the following in this game is kind of depressing in comparison, because you cannot dance in 4 tiles like OSRS. Level 62 ranged, and I'm really liking the XP rates, 320k an hour for AFK as well. The reason this whole time that I wanted to train ranged is because level 75 is required for getting into Priv. The reason you guys see me not dying is because all of these clips have been done over time with my vampirism aura active. This is an aura that I can use 1 hour every 3 hours, and it heals me 5% of all hits, which is more than enough for never dying here. So after many sessions of coming here for 1 hour at a time, here is finally level 75 ranged. Now, I can train some defense if I want to through ranged, or just go do some other stuff. I mean, I have a million things I have to do. I just hit level 80 mining, and unfortunately, I do not have a lot of recordings of smithing because most of it was done on mobile, but this also banked me just about 80 smithing. 80 smithing is massive in RuneScape 3, because it is the first requirement that we just got for invention. Invention is considered an elite skill, meaning it has a different XP curve than other stats, and it is not unlocked when you create an account. You can only start training invention after 80 smithing, crafting, and divination. The team has still been banking me skilling supplies, and I got some gems, so I decided to train some crafting. As an Iron Man, it is really good to do some bank standing skills at this bank in Mazcab. There is a store here that restocks every 2 minutes that will sell super restores, and super of every combat potion as well. This is where I banked my super potions for abyss training. Here we go, 71 crafting, 72 crafting. They also managed to get herblore secondaries and seeds that I've been growing, so I also started to train herblore outside of lamps for the first time ever. And my god, even being fed the supplies, it is awful. You cannot pay any NPCs to make unfinished potions, and they are so slow to make in this game. I did not have that much herblore banked, but I managed to finish off level 57, which is a requirement for Fairy Tail Part 2, which will get me fairy rings, so that's good. At level 80 mining, I unlocked concentrated gold deposits, which are insanely good for Iron Men. This was content back in RS2 days. It was the first mining training method where you could mine rocks that didn't automatically deplete. These huge rocks would change locations every 10 minutes or so from my memory. Anyway, now that the mining rework happened, all the rocks are like that. So these big gold ores, instead of giving 1 ore at a time, give me 5 gold ores. You don't see them going to my inventory because I am using porters, which are a great item, but even better here, and here's why. I told you guys about caches on episode 1, the daily minigame that trains Divination. It's insanely overpowered, but Divination isn't just a skill that's trained to 99 and completely ignored. When we get high enough level, it is incredibly useful in a large amount of places. I just hit level 72 from caches, and I'm going to finally start doing it normally. Normal divination is a pretty chill method. You get memories from wisps, and then you feed them into the creator for XP. Right now though, instead of choosing to get XP, I'm turning these into energies, which I'm going to actively be using. 20 minutes immediately after a cache, I get a 10% chance to turn my whole inventory in at once, so now is the best time to make energies. Finally, once I have energies, I can make porters. One sign of porter costs me 45 divination energy and 1 emerald necklace. And with that whole process done, it brings us to where we are, mining with the porters. So what exactly does a porter do? Well, every time I mine a gold ore, it will go directly to my bank instead. The tier I'm making has 20 charges before it dies, and this would theoretically work during fishing, woodcutting, etc. Basically, it's just really good for skilling. However, because these gold deposits give me 5 gold ores at a time, the reason porters are so powerful here is because I lose 1 charge per 5 gold ores that I mine. So 1 porter will last me for 100 gold ores. When we can mine these this quickly and easily, the gold bars can likely be used for efficient crafting XP, making jewelry, when we don't have uncut gems. Also, since there are NPCs around here, I can train some necromancy while mining. In case you missed it, mining is a 4-tick action in this game, and you can attack once every 3 ticks. So while doing combat plus mining, you just hit every 4 ticks instead, and you get some 0-time combat XP. You may notice that I only have 19% accuracy against these guys, so I'm hitting awful, which is getting me awful XP per hour. But to be completely honest, I am really nervous about training low level necromancy. I'm scared it's going to be really slow, so getting any 0-time XP out of the way is going to be beneficial. Level 36 necromancy, let's go. Still banking some gold ores, but 0-time got 38 necromancy. I have been slowly chipping away at 90 to 99 thieving at these wilderness safes. These are marginally better than any other safe I can do. They're about 1.2 mil an hour including the time to run here. However, they take a whole 10 minutes to respawn. So the long-term XP has been very slow, but we are slowly getting closer to 99. I completed Desert Treasure, so I made my way to the Abyss to try training my early magic levels. Magic is really bad early game because most of the AoE attacks are late game or unlocked with PVM drops that we don't have yet. So my best method is to go to legacy mode and just like old school, do some blood bursting. This bleeds my death rune stack, but at least it doesn't require blood runes in this game. Each cast is 2 death runes and 4 fire runes, and of course you lose your runes each cast because we are not casting abilities. 67 magic. I barely had enough runes and I just bought all the stocks out before coming here, but here is my goal, 75 magic. The reason I wanted 75 magic is because with 150 quest points, you are rewarded a tier 75 magic weapon, which is best in slot for a while, and I am going to want to do some killing soon. Early Slayer training is just like OSRS, where we have 0 Slayer points and we need them. There's a Slayer Master in Lumbridge that's just like Turiel, where you do 9 of their tasks and then 1 good task for points. I'm going to be doing that for early necromancy levels, plus some Slayer points to get started on Slayer. My first ever good task, good luck! In RS3, you can use Slayer tokens to occasionally choose a different task. I think I have 2 saved up, but I'm not sure what they're from. But I'm only going to really be using them if it's really worth it. Calfights are a great first task since I can kill the low levels and it's easy points, so that's an easy pick. This necromancy task is pretty good I think. I'm only getting 24k an hour Slayer, but I'm also getting 87k an hour necromancy, which is pretty good considering I'm only level 49 at the moment. All the dragonstones that the team has been getting from PVM, I've been turning into dragonstone bracelets and I'm able to alch while training necromancy here. Finished my first task for 60 Slayer points, but I had to stay here for an extra kill or 2 to get level 50 necromancy. 76 crafting. This is a huge upgrade for the team. I would never in a million years recommend anyone to use spice boosts for getting something sooner in old school. However, RS3 is a bit different. They have a second quest after Evil Dave that buffs the spices a little bit. They are easier to get since you can just stomp the rats, and then the stews go to +6 as well, so there's a higher chance of getting a +4 boost. I only need that +4 boost for level 80, and I can make the entire team glories. Second try, all the way to 82 crafting, very nice. That is 5 Dragonstone amulets created. RS3 also has an assist system, and as a group Ironman I can assist my group mate. And Lucario needs my boosted crafting to make a necromancy amulet, which also helps the team, so that's huge. Glories are actually pretty sweet of an upgrade in this game, so we are all probably going to be using them. We are now over 2 weeks into the account, and only 2 weeks left until OSRS leagues. Here is a current look at my stats. We are 1908 total. I think it's safe to say at this point, RS3 has been a lot harder than I expected it to be for leveling up. There were a lot of rumors, so I had this mindset that I would start in day 1 and suddenly be maxed because everything was so fast. However, that is not the case. The game is faster than old school, but it's not by that much. Knowing I can't max before leagues doesn't make me want to quit. I've been having so much fun playing RS3, and I can see this being a long-term thing. I am still going to be playing with the mindset of getting high total level, some amount of 99s, and more. This is a good spot to end today's video, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.